I choose you. Season 7's our destiny. Let's eat some Alolan food. I choose you.
Hello, and welcome to I Choose You, the podcast about cooking and eating Pokemon. My name is Jeremy Zielik. I'm the host and Alton Brown of the group. Joining me this week, as always, is...
your friend on this show, Ben Montoya.
Ian Davis, the Conrad Vernon of the show.
Oh, I know who that is.
And the Robin Sparkles of the show, Evan Aubrey.
Whoa.
Wow.
Are you from Canada?
Oh, you'll see.
Oh, shit. Okay. Evan's got something to drink. What is it called?
It's a cozy.
It's got a little jacket on.
Uh-huh.
I got a cute little... So I was hoping that we had a koozie that was like a nice winter sweater, but it's just a very pink life vest.
Okay.
I thought it was like a...
Oh, does it float?
No, I wish. It's just cute.
And it's not like I'm Knuff.
No, I wish. It could be.
Looks like it.
Yeah. Actually, that would
Really
work
could
out
be.
really well for your Ken cosplay.
Oh, that would have been so good.
Would you
But no, I'm
consider
drinking a
Halloween
pumpkin ale.
costumes to be cosplay or just regular costumes?
What's the line between costume and cosplay? I kind of feel like they're just the same thing.
I feel
Yeah,
like
it's
if
like
it's
an acceptable time of year for a fursona, too.
Yeah.
If you just want to try it out for a day.
Yeah.
I feel like Halloween, it's like the Outback Steakhouse of costume wearing, where it's no rules, just right. So whatever you can't cosplay on Halloween because it's expected. If that makes sense. You're not really playing. You're just there.
You're just there.
Yeah.
You're actually more of a cosplayer if you're not wearing a costume on Halloween.
Exactly.
Do you feel...
You're kind of acting against the spirits of Samhain by not being a part of the costume set.
You know, what's the movie where like the people are wearing the Halloween costumes and then they become the costumes? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, that's a good.
You might be thinking of a Goosebumps book, or book and TV show.
Or maybe like
episode.
Halloween or Trick or Treat the movie.
Oh, yeah, that happened in Trick or Treat too. Yeah.
So like
Okay.
along those lines, do you think you are closer to being what you're dressed up as on Halloween or at a convention? Like, if I'm surrounded by another, like, 100 Star Trek men, and I'm also in a red suit, does that make me closer to being star fodder? Or, like, I show up to the costume party on Halloween, and, like, I'm... You know what I'm saying? But it's like the special day.
Yes,
the
I
stars
know
are
what you're
aligned.
saying. So, if you're at the Star Trek convention and you're dressed as a red shirt, does that make you more of a red shirt than if you dressed as a red shirt on Halloween? And I would say yes, because cosplaying invokes kind of like a more business-like attitude or hobbyistic attitude towards the costumes being presented.
Do you show up to San Diego Comic-Con and go, I'm here for business?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Or like, I guess what I'm getting at is, do you think like, if you are at a costume party, regardless of if it's Halloween or not, and the majority of people there are dressed in the same like realm as you, it gives you strength in like becoming that thing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So like if like a bunch
the
of you
fantasy.
were, if a bunch of you were dressed as Transformers at a party. And, like, a wizard showed up and was like, whatever the majority of costumes are here, you'll turn into. And then everyone turned into a Transformer.
Well, like
That concentrated energy will, like, kind of bring people together and fulfill their imagination.
like if like I show up to a party and I'm the only Teletubby there, it's weird. But if all four of us showed up as four different colored Teletubbies, we're not all the same Teletubby.
Sure.
Then it's an Eyes Wide Shut party.
Yes.
Interesting topical conversation around costumes. It's the end of November.
Well, man, I mean,
We're
a lot of people are going to be dressing up like Santa soon.
Yeah. And
we're
lot
nothing if
of
not
people.
topical.
the Santa Claus, he dresses as Santa and then he becomes Santa. So I think that
true.
this really all ties together. If we,
Oh, just like that Santa convention or Santa marathon or
Yes.
whatever. Where everyone's a
SantaCon in New
Yeah.
York.
So
There you
the
go.
Santa Claus movie completely throws my theory out the window because he's the only guy who's dressed like Santa, and he becomes
Yes,
him.
there
only
can
takes
only
one.
be one. Yeah. And also after accidental manslaughter. So that's the only way you can become Santa Claus too.
Damn.
Which is the Mrs. Claus.
Well, right. So you have to murder and you have to fuck. If you
Yeah, you have to kill. First, you have to kill the Santa Claus. Then you have
Fuck,
to
marry, kill. That's the Santa Claus code.
Then you have to bring in a partner, an eternal spouse, to your relationship. And I want to point out that in the Santa Claus 2, they get married. That movie's rated G, so they can't have sex. But they get married, and he's like, "I need you to marry so I can stay Santa Claus forever." And I've only known you for a week, kind of situation. But in the Santa Claus 3, he has a child. So once he's got that bowl full of jelly, he finally consummates the relationship and is able to continue the Santa Claus line. Now, it's not clear if their child will inherit the throne of Santa when he passes, or if the child will have to commit like ritualistic patricide to become the Santa Claus kind of situation, unless Tim Allen just has it forever.
I think he has it forever.
Yeah, because he doesn't die until he's murdered.
It's like a Queen Elizabeth.
So
Yeah.
Oh.
But here's
Tudors-esque lineage of Santa Claus.
I do also want to point out that Santa Claus, you can live forever, but you can die very easily. Like, just
what's up
falling
with
off
that?
of one roof will get you.
Well, yeah, that makes sense, right? I mean, that's like the classic like immortality genie wish. Like you're immortal, but then like you do get hit by a car.
Like, careful what you wish for. Like, you will live forever and have to deliver kids. Only work one night a year, but you might happen to slide on an icy roof one day and just fucking bite it right there. And
Plus,
then.
you've seen every cock on the planet.
Plus, you've seen every cock on the planet. Exactly.
I don't know about that.
So, like, risk reward, like, you know.
See, I feel like, and look, I'm going to level with you guys. I've not watched the Disney Plus series, The Santa Clauses, with an S at the end. That I'm sure.
how many are there?
I'm certain this show like gets into it, kind of situation. But
No, is it like a Santa Claus metaverse kind of situation? Because I don't know if I can handle that anymore. Like, they get the Santa Claus from like the Polar Express
And the Coca-Cola bottle.
Yeah. I honestly don't know. I'll let you guys know. I'll do some research this week.
Please.
I'll
Sure,
report
you will.
back.
Sure, you will.
But this whole conversation was brought on by Evan cracking his beverage. So I want to know what everyone else is drinking on the Icy Chat today.
I actually have a topical and seasonal beverage to share with you. It is Frosty the Haze Man Hazy IPA. And it's got a really bad picture on it.
Let's see it.
Super stoned out looking Frosty the Snowman. I don't know if you'll be able to see it super well, but it's got a nasty looking face. Yeah.
So
Token it.
So Ben, if you were in a Jack Frost situation, would be the snowman you turn into?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. And because, I mean, he's having a great time. He's got a little dog, too, which is pretty cute.
Nice.
He just seems like he's having a good old time drinking a cold one out in the cold, which is sometimes a great experience.
Do you go to the same place every time you buy your beer?
Nah, it's here and there.
I was hoping you had like a place you go to and they know you, and it's like when you walk into like a record store and they're like, "Oh, we got this in and we thought you'd like this," and they pull out like the silliest fucking labels and names for you.
Ian walks
love
into
that.
his local vinyl shop and like they're like, "Say no more, Ian," and they give you a vintage single of the Christmas Donkey song.
Yeah.
I mean, those people at the liquor store do know me by face, but they don't know me in the sense of like, oh yeah, let me get you I know exactly what you want. Sometimes they will comment and be like, ooh yeah, that's pretty good. This one, not so much, but I had to get it for the pure, just because I knew it would tickle y'all.
Yeah. Consider me tickled.
Is it like a wintry ale, or is it just like a hazy, like a regular hazy?
It's just a normal hazy IPA. It's like, I don't know, I guess it could be maybe a little bit. It's a little tamer on the IPA side of things, so it could be maybe more of a wintry kind of beer. But all in all, it's just a pretty standard hazy. Frosty the Haze Man, as they say.
Listen, My brain's going all over the place tonight. The nose of the snowman.
Is it a carrot?
Well,
or is it a blunt?
It's a carrot.
My question was more like, I mean, I guess you can get carrots like in wintertime. I don't know. It just seemed like, where'd we get this fresh vegetable from? You know what I'm saying?
Probably from the root cellar is what I would imagine.
Yeah.
You know, like that the place where you have kept all of your. I mean, carrots keep pretty good.
Yeah.
Historically, in my experience, so I imagine that you could just like throw them in your little cellar, and it doesn't matter what time of year, you can go down there and chomp on some carrots.
Would you waste, if you were in like the 19th century, would you waste a carrot on a snowman nose?
That's what I'm saying.
Well, no, your mom's going to say, you pick that thing up and put it right back in the soup like nothing else.
You know, I would risk it. I would do it.
Oh, hell yeah. Ben's rebellious streak is coming out. I've
Take
got
2 pieces of coal from your child labor
Yes.
coal mine.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got also a seasonal beer. It's the Santa Fe Brewing Company Adobe Igloo beer.
Ooh, I had that on tap when I was there.
Yes,
How was
which
it?
is
So good.
winter ale with cocoa and chili.
Wow.
That's like my favorite beer of theirs.
And it's really good. I've had it before, but excellent. Highly recommend it when you're in town. Ian, do you got a glass of water?
Tall and piping.
Nice.
Do you ever
Looks
just
refreshing.
drink hot water?
You know, I will occasionally if I don't have tea or I just need to be like soothed quickly.
Yeah.
Tori does that all the time. It's like a ancient Chinese
Secret.
secret. Yeah.
It's such a secret. Hot water. Though I can see where it definitely is soothing. And I could imagine a world where I ran out of tea and it's just like, I need hot something to hold and just like feel like a little person.
Ben, I'm going to say this. I can't imagine a world where you run out of tea.
Impossible.
Believe it or not, it happens sometimes.
Holy shit. You're not like me when I get down to one, like I have one thing of a certain item left in my cupboard. I buy more of them kind of situation.
I think this is proof.
I mean, yes, this is the most mundane topic we've ever discussed on this show. But yes, sometimes I do get more of the same thing.
When you go to the grocery store, I mean,
You say it's
Yes.
You say it's mundane, but I think it further points that we are living in the darkest timeline. Because surely, like, in the timeline where like COVID didn't happen and like yada yada, you are always fucking stocked.
Okay.
I
Right,
thought you were
in,
going to
like,
imply
my dream
the
world.
other way, which is that you wait until you literally have nothing left, and then you buy stuff, and that's cool because you're like living on the edge kind of situation.
So indicative of our typical consumerist culture. We have one left of one thing, and we have to go buy more of that thing. Why not use it until it's done and then replenish that thing, that commodity? But instead, we're so greedy over here. You know.
I think it's
Thanks,
more
not
that I
enough.
worry I'm going to run out of like dish soap or toilet paper, so I'm like, got to get more dish soap.
No, I think it speaks more to the consumerist culture that we live in.
That's why Ben uses only one tea bag a week.
Yeah.
You use it,
Recycles
dry
it.
Yep, you dry it out.
suck it dry.
Yep. You got like a hair dryer and you you dry it up and then you save it for next time.
Excellent. Well, I was going to do like another bit at the top of this episode, but we're like a rambling man this week kind of situation. So I'll do quick hits. Favorite meal you ate or favorite food item you had over the Thanksgiving break?
This is an easy one for me because Asia made. I already told you guys this, but Asia made, and I helped. I'll say, beer cheese mac and cheese,
Oh yes.
which was so good. It was like,
Was the beer cheese from scratch?
yeah,
Whoa.
it was like a beer. It was like a bechamel sauce with like amber ale and then a bunch of cheese and shit, and it tasted very like garlicky, oniony, but like had that sweetness from the amber ale. Oof. Fantastic.
Is mac and
Sounds fucking good.
Is mac and cheese a staple for all of you guys? Because that's like never been on my table. But I heard one of my kids be like, I didn't have mac and cheese at Thanksgiving, and the other kid was like, on God.
Is that
a dramatic
something?
reading.
Is that something like a 12-year-old says on God?
Yeah.
Does that mean
No,
something?
no cap.
We'll say
no
that.
cap.
Okay, say no cap then. Jesus Christ, moving too fast.
I would say that mac and cheese is a pretty standard Thanksgiving side.
I've never done it, but that sounds good.
I
I had very good stuffing. We had a family friend over, and they brought delicious homemade stuffing.
Ooh, hell yeah.
I would say to respond to your mac and cheese point, when I would go to my grandmother's house and she used to cook Thanksgiving dinner, she wouldn't do mac and cheese, but she would do scalloped potatoes.
Yeah, baby.
Which I think kind of satisfies a similar niche, which is the kind of cheese
Carb.
niche. Yes, the cheese corner of the table. I also told you guys this, but when I was in Colorado, we went to the Dunchabe Boulder Tea House. Highly recommended. Everyone, if you're visiting Boulder, should head on over. It's a lot of fun. The food's really good. But you go there for the drinks, right? So I had a tea that was like milk and cookies flavored, and a tea cocktail that was like a vanilla tea infused whiskey with like a variety of other stuff mixed in. It was very good. But the highlight in the middle was the chai nog, which was a chai latte mixed with eggnog kind of situation. And it's like, it's the best part of a chai latte. It's the best part of an eggnog. And I think it's just those two things, and then you mix them together. But it was really good.
Best of both worlds.
Yes. It was a very Hannah Montana kind of situation.
Isn't chai and eggnog, isn't that like a Venn diagram? And then what you had was basically in the middle, right?
I guess that's true. It is. They are very similar spice-wise, I think.
Yeah.
I think what it is that it was like a chai latte made with eggnog instead of like cream and stuff kind of situation. As I imagine,
Sounds
that's
really
like
good.
that's like the one difference. But it was very good. Highly recommended. Chai nog. Maybe I could just do it at my house. Just pour some chai into a nog. I feel
What's stopping you, Jeremy?
nothing. I haven't bought nog though, so I've got to go on a nog run.
Yeah. Ian, did you have a highlight from the Thanksgiving holiday?
Got to go with my mom makes a really good apple crumb. That's like she like hand slices the apples. They're like fucking wafer thin. Layers it with this like sort of like nut crumble, and it's her friend described it as an apple lasagna, which really I really wanted to like reach across the table and throttle that. But
Garfed it right
in the
up.
spirit
Oh,
of
okay,
giving.
but hold on. You didn't appreciate her
I
calling
did
it
not.
apple lasagna?
No.
Okay.
Disrespectful.
Disrespectful.
Get that the fuck out of here.
But imagine like Garfield is like, I love apple lasagna, and then he eats like this dessert.
Well, and I would recognize that as like a part of Garfield's rich cultural heritage, and there's clearly like a miscommunication of like words. You know, I'd be like, oh, like yes, and then I do the customary handshake with him or whatever, like his people do. This fucking woman was from
Is a
Connecticut.
lasagna like the seventh food group? Like how you can classify everything as a taco or a
this is
sandwich? Like
dangerous.
how many things can you classify as
Casserole?
a lasagna?
I guess a lasagna is kind of like a casserole or a cake if you want to get crazy, because it has like layers
An
Am I
onion.
wrong?
kind of situation.
I think the cube rule that we've mentioned a couple times before classifies it as a casserole.
Oh,
And that's
good.
like
Okay.
the like umbrella term.
I thought I
that
just
lasagna
discovered
fits in.
something that like the entire internet forgot.
Well, I mean
about.
that's why Garfield loves it so much, is because he eats it and it's like a fifth dimensional object he can see through time as he's like throwing it into his mouth. That's how his mouth can get so large. Speaking of eating, why don't we talk about the subject of this show, which is cooking and /eating Pokemon? And each week we come to the show with a hot new recipe. We discuss the Pokemon that we have randomly selected to eat. We share our recipe with this Pokemon with one another in the spirit of the season, I think, this time of year. And then we vote about who has the best recipe. And yeah, this week's Pokemon is Palossand. It's haunted sand. It's a sandcastle that's haunted, and we're going to eat it. I don't remember who won last time because that was we recorded 2 weeks ago. Does anyone remember? Was it Ben? Was it Ian?
I think it was.
I think I won.
Yeah.
All right. Ben, take us to the beach.
To the beach? Beach? Yeah, I will. Because I was looking at Palossand, and I thought, like, instead of, like, my immediate thought was churro dust.
Oh, yes.
That was my immediate thought. And so from that, I got this idea for a new sort of like beach like business enterprise. Like how there's some folks like with the the cart that like you go around and get some like hot Cheetos or like a paleta or what have you. Something
Otter
sweet
Pops.
to eat. Otter Pops maybe. Yeah. I'm thinking something like that, except all you need is a cart and a Palossand. And some various other goodies with you that you can sell to your patrons. Mm-hmm. And you can call it the Palossand Churro Stand.
Nice.
And basically the presumption here is that, yeah, like these grains of sand have been, manipulated via the ghosts and the spirits to be... to have the same cinnamon sugar quality as churro dusting, and so it like its own like kind of self contained system of churro dust. It lives there. It like is able to like swoosh it all around, and so basically what I'm imagining is you put your Palossand in your little like wagon that you take along across the beach, and people purchase certain items such as a churro or a candy apple or a banana or other various things that you might have with you, and they purchase the thing and then they stick it in the Palossand mouth and it gets like perfectly coated in churro dust, and then you take it out and you pay, and then it's like that's that. You take your nice little beach treat with you to your spot and enjoy your delicious Palossand churro treat.
Can I
beach
just
would
like
be so much more enjoyable if it was just cinnamon sugar.
Yes,
It's true.
exactly.
I mean, we just people do this sometimes if they're unconsolable children, but like lick the sand at the beach kind of situation. If it
I
was
would
cinnamon,
like it so much more if it was churro sand.
If it was cinnamon sugar, fucking Anakin Skywalker would change his tune if he knew that the sand at the beach was fucking churro dust. You
Right.
would just be like, I want that everywhere. It makes everything so sweet. You know what I mean? Kind of situation.
And then he probably wouldn't have become Darth Vader. I'm
No.
just saying it.
100%. So, first question. Does the ghost constitution of the Palossand mean that it can regenerate the cinnamon sugar components of its structure when you like scoop some away, or is it once you're taking it all, it's dead?
Interesting questions. I'm thinking more like the way that you can create your Palossand is like you go to the beach, you take the natural sand that is there, and then you kind of like put it on your little pentagram like demon summoning situation, and you are going to want to summon the sweetest demon that you can imagine, like the most sweet as in personality wise, but also sweet tasting demon. And then you're just going to summon that demon into the form of the sand, and that's what's going to make it give it that lovely sweet cinnamon sugar churro taste.
Nice. So we are just eating sand, but it just happens to taste good.
Exactly. Exactly. You can be convinced of anything.
Yeah. If I were on perhaps a camping trip as a kindergartner and I was approached with a Palossand and ate so much of it, would I throw up?
So I don't think you would eat a ton of it because
Okay,
it would
well-
actually just be coated onto the food that the regular food item that's being like flavor blasted, if you will.
Okay.
So it's really not that much sand, and it really tastes so good that you don't even think about it. Like you wouldn't imagine even vomiting. You're just like, wow, this churro tastes so delicious and organically prepared.
So like, I wouldn't want to do like a cinnamon challenge with it.
I wouldn't do a cinnamon challenge with it, quite honestly.
Can I like put my face in its archway?
What?
Okay. Well, that probably would be a little inappropriate because, like I said, you're the customer and like I'm the guy
But
with the fucking Palossand.
Ben,
so,
I
like,
want some cinnamon sugar.
Get your tongue off my sandcastle.
Can I have the sandcastle sit on my face? I think is what Jeremy
Yes.
said.
It's like those Cinnamon Toast Crunch commercials where they eat each other. They start by like licking each other and they eat each other.
Yeah.
But I want that with the Palossand. I want it to be on me, in me, around me.
okay, I think if you maybe owned this Palossand and
I
you
would
went
be
through
owning it.
and you went through the churro experience, you could definitely like bury yourself in Palossand sand and then like, you know, eat your way out or something like that.
Hell yeah.
I had a more wholesome image of like your business, which is the Palossand is inside of the Rugrats lawnmower.
Oh,
You know
yes.
what I'm talking about?
It's like the Poppy baby toy where you like push it around and it's like...
It has like the plastic balls inside
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
It's not a real
Oh,
lawnmower.
okay.
But the Palossand's in there, and it's like, oh, you want your fucking churro spiced up, and you stick it in the lawnmower and kind of just like do a little lap around the customer, and then it's done.
I like that idea, except I kind of just like the idea of the Palossand mouth just being like open all the time. It's just like, "Aw," and then you just like stick it in there, and it's like,
kinda
oh
like a-
god.
It's kind of like a cotton candy machine, but
Yeah.
it doesn't spin the sugar. It just like, yeah.
Spits on.
You just put it in there, and then
And it,
it's energetic, you know.
It's ectoplasm.
being. Its ectoplasm moves the dust in such a way that it's just a perfect coat every time.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right.
So anyway, that's my recipe.
Nice.
Excellent. Ian, what's your recipe this week?
Yeah, you know, I was going to be, you know, Conrad Vernon, who, Jeremy, can you guess who I was going to be this week?
Well,
Like-
can I guess who you were going to be?
Because Ben like reminded me of my values, and I have to like, I'm not going to pretend like this recipe is better than the recipe I had, but I have to live my truth, as the kids say.
Sure.
Okay. So you already told us somebody, and that's not who you are anymore.
Right, but I wonder, because you're like, I know who that is because I like movies. So I want you to guess why I was him.
I don't know. I can't, honestly, I don't
His
know.
greatest
Ian,
role.
you got me.
Voice of the gingerbread man from
Oh,
okay.
greatest role.
Yes.
probably.
I guess so. So were you going to be the gingerbread
Yeah,
man, or are you always aiming for kind of like this slanted, almost twisted Shrek-esque angle on this presentation?
Oh, you know what? I'll stick with this, but I'm gonna have to share my other idea because I like it so much better.
Okay. Okay.
Gingerbread castle house. That's
Ooh.
all right.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
You make your gingerbread, which, you know, you get your molasses and your ginger and your bread, and you mix that all up. And then you make your icing, royal icing, not buttercream, because you need that shit to dry.
Of course.
But the secret ingredient in the royal icing is the ghost or the spirit of the castle. Because it like helps. I'm picturing like it's kind of like the glue, so to you know, it makes it extra. You know,
So you have to like Luigi's Mansion-esque suck in a ghost haunting a castle and use that for your.
exactly. You
Okay.
you suck
Okay.
the soul out, whip that up in the icing, And then, this is going to be really intricate. Maybe you have like the gingerbread pieces are like curved and you can build like, I don't know, a sandcastle out of the...
Are there going to be some like flying buttresses on this castle?
Yeah.
They're flying. Maybe you put some like...
Is there going to be some like Gothic architecture? Maybe like some stained glass? What are we talking
I
about
was
here?
thinking of more of a Rococo style.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah, you got your maybe you got some like gingerbread ice cream cones that you put on top. They have maybe some like pointy tops. You put a little syrup moat around it.
Ooh.
Nice.
Get some like gumdrop buttons. Stick that on the front because this frickin' Pokemon has that on the front of it already.
True.
There you go.
So catch me if you can. Gingerbread, Palossand, gingerbread house.
I thought you would. Wouldn't you keep the gingerbread man in the gingerbread house?
Oh, like lock him up?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like they
Has to be
do in the
rescued.
movie where
Throw
they
him in the
torture
dungeon.
him.
But the castle is also made of gingerbread.
Yeah. He can't fucking get out.
Is the gingerbread man more of a man now that he's in a castle made of gingerbread?
oh, it's like the cosplay question.
Oh,
Yes.
it's just a man.
There you go.
So that's what I got.
Lovely.
I like that you've taken the joy, the play, the pure play that's at play, if you will, in the gingerbread house experience and brought it to the beach. I think that there hasn't been like a seasonal equivalent to the gingerbread house for summer, and I think that this is like as close as we're gonna get.
Yeah.
Your thing about the gingerbread man in a gingerbread house or castle kind of situation reminded me of this post where it's a picture of a pumpkin inside of a pumpkin house kind of situation, and the text says, "A pumpkin man sits inside a pumpkin house. Is the house made of flesh or is he made of house?" So I want to hear the gingerbread man in the fifth Shrek movie say, "Am I made of house?"
And then he's like walking with a cane and he's
Yes. Then he becomes Hugh Laurie.
plays the guitar or whatever.
Yeah, a massive attack comes on as soon as he says it.
Well, the theory I like is that someone pointed out that we are all made out of carbon. Like in our houses, at a fundamental level, are all carbon based.
Sure.
So maybe that's like what
Sure.
gingerbread is it's like just the most fundamental building block of their universe.
Oh.
Okay, so you're saying like an atom is like one quantum of gingerbread.
Yeah, like if you look really close, it's like a little gingerbread cookie with like two gumdrops circling it.
Nice.
Oh, yes.
I'm sure this was an episode of like Jimmy Neutron or something.
Or like
where-
Yeah, or like young Sheldon.
Yeah.
young Sheldon.
Guys, how do you feel about the fact that young Sheldon has gotten old and he's being canceled?
Good.
Oh shit.
Can
what
we
did
have
he do?
old Sheldon?
We already did.
Can we have
Oh, well, older Sheldon.
We had middle-aged Sheldon, right? We can get old Sheldon for
yeah,
sure.
retired Sheldon.
Yeah. It like takes place in like 2070 or something, and it's like Sheldon and all of his friends in like the like cyber like home for the elderly kind of situation, and he keeps saying Bazinga even after all these years.
Oh, Grandpa.
Always the wackiest sayings.
Don't say that though, because someone will do that. Like they will fucking make old Sheldon. I swear.
Hear that, Chuck Lorre?
Yeah.
Call it.
I just want to imagine they talked to the kid who was young Sheldon. He was like, "We will make you old Sheldon. It's going to happen." Or I hope this series finale of Young Sheldon is like a Better Call Saul situation where up until that point it's been a prequel, but at the very last episode they flash forward to after the end of The Big Bang Theory to see his depressed life living in Omaha.
Oh man. And he just sadly like turns off the TVs when he goes Bazinga.
Yeah.
Can they say Bazinga on Young Sheldon? Is that like a have they breached that canon yet?
I assume like the pilot is like he's born and he says Bazinga when
That
he
was
comes out of
probably
the
in the
womb.
first episode.
Yeah.
I like the idea that I think Ben is going for, which is like throughout all of Young Sheldon, he's like, Bahuka? No, that's not it. But
Baba
That's what's making
Booey.
it so good.
in the final episode, he looks himself in the mirror and he says, "Bazinga."
Yeah.
Okay, I'm googling. Do they say Bazinga in Young Sheldon?
Is this like a Sony owning Spider-Man situation where like it was, this wasn't actually made by the Big Bang Theory creators, so they like copyrighted Bazinga? and
Yes,
couldn't say it in
they
the
can't
show?
reference any element of the Big Bang Theory except that this child is young and his name is Sheldon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ben, can you confirm or deny that
looking
young
for a long
Sheldon says
time.
Bazinga?
I just really hate.
This fucking young Sheldon.
No, I just hate articles that are like about TV shows and they have to like write exactly what is happening in the most like stupid way. So, okay, this article is very short, but it does confirm this, question. Anyone who watches The Big Bang Theory knows that one of Sheldon's go-to words is bazinga. But there's never been an explanation for how he came up with such a unique saying.
Oh my god.
That is until now.
Oh shit.
And this is in 2018, so actually this is old news. On Thursday's episode of Young Sheldon, the Big Bang Theory spinoff that also airs on CBS, the title character, played by what's-his-face, embarks on a quest to inject more frivolity into his life and goes into a comic book store in search of, quote, practical joke paraphernalia, so I may behave childishly. The clerk directs him to a red and yellow display of toys from Bazinga, a novelty company out of Toledo, Ohio. The company's slogan is, "If it's funny, it's Bazinga." Quote, "Interesting," observes Sheldon, who I'll call young Sheldon. But yeah, that seems like the thing this was the episode where he finally said it.
So, look, I will give the creators of Young Sheldon this. It seems like they waited until, like, at least the second season to give us an origin story of Bazinga.
Yeah.
It wasn't, like, pilot episode, Bazinga.
Now, I am going to take it away from the writer team and say what they all sat around the writer's table and they were like, this is it.
This one's funny. This is a good one, guys. He sees a sign and says, "Interesting."
Well, I mean, that could be my fucking origin story because I go to a fucking store and I see a Bazinga t-shirt and I'm like, Bazinga? And that's it. That's all it takes kind of situation.
You go into the novelty tea section at Target.
Yes. And I see like 1-year-old for like clothes for like a small child and they all say like Bazinga. Look, next year Halloween I'll be young Sheldon. I'm just saying it right now.
Do it.
Wear a bow tie, have glasses. I'm already there.
Young
Be
Sheldon.
careful, Jeremy, because if you go to the wrong party and there's like a witch there, she'll turn you into young Sheldon.
You might turn into young Sheldon.
Hey, I'll use my life experience as like an adult in a child's body to maybe like play the stock market or do really well on like the kind of like juvenile versions of Jeopardy, like Kids Jeopardy or Teen Jeopardy kind of situation.
Yes, absolutely.
So I've got this all sorted out. Evan, what's your recipe?
Whew, boy, my recipe. So I am the Robin Sparkles of the show, from everyone's favorite sitcom, How I Met Your Mother. And Robin Sparkles' favorite famous song, of course, is "Sandcastles in the Sand."
Oh yeah, I forgot
So
about that.
there you go. Not related to my recipe, but close
Beautiful.
enough. Kind of.
I always thought of the Mall song when I thought of her.
Oh, let's go to the mall.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, also, I haven't seen How I Met Your Mother or its spinoff How I Met Your Father.
Oh, don't fucking watch. Grace watched that for a minute, and God, it was the most insufferable.
Hillary does come back.
Does like a person on How I Met Your Father? Now we're just pitching bad sitcom things. Does anyone like say like what's a synonym for legendary that also has many syllables in it? But do they say wait for it, pick? Like, do they do that?
And then they snap a pic.
Yeah.
Spoilers if anyone watches the show, but fucking Barney Stinson does show up and fuck everybody in one of the episodes.
All right, let's go.
Decimates.
Destroys this town.
Jesus
Oh
Christ.
man! All right, getting back to wholesome food. So my recipe this week, I immediately searched for edible sand recipes. And I came across one that was very, very fitting. So this is a recipe for a sandcastle cake. And it's basically, a cake that looks like a sandcastle. But here's the kicker. So it's not covered in sand. But
What?
it is covered in delicious crushed up like biscuits. So that's what I'm imagining this Palossand is made out of, is this delicious cut up biscuity material. And I also had that kind of vision of the like two astronauts in space with the one pointing a gun at the other one. It's like, was it always cake? And always was, or whatever.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, this
always
is basically
sand.
Always sand. But this is like a classic kind of butter cake, golden cake mix deal. It's kind of like a classic yellow cake that you'd find, your Betty Crockers, etc. But there's also, so it's a layer cake because this castle has some tiers going on, and in between all the layers is some raspberry jam. So it's got a little bit of sweetness to it. And this one's kind of fun because it has to make it extra sandcastle-y. So once you got your cake layers arranged in all of your turrets and centuries or whatever you've got your castle arranged as. You use little marshmallows as the kind of up and down like pieces of the castle. The kind of jaggedy tops.
Oh yeah.
So and then everything gets coated in a layer of butter. Just like a brushed on layer of butter, and then you like sprinkle all of this crushed up biscuit Palossand to like give it the sandy effect.
Nice.
And then just to make it a little extra like beach themed, you get some chocolate seashells, some gummy jellyfish, some starfish lollies, and some candy rocks, and you're just like making a little diorama situation.
Oh my
and
God.
just kind of placing it all over and things. And this could win you, first place at your science fair.
Seriously.
Yeah.
What's the experiment?
Oh, volcano.
Can castles also be volcanoes?
I feel like that's every kid's experiment at the science fairs. They just make a volcano.
I love it. They're like, oh, so is this another volcano? And you're like, yep. And they're like, oh, you used like bicarbonate, whatever the fuck. And you're like, no. It just does
There's
that.
just jam in there.
Yeah, you cut it open and jam comes out like a volcano.
I do really like the infinite possibilities you have stumbled upon with like making a sandcastle cake. I think that's just like I like the idea of Palossand. I feel like it could be like punched up like and like in all sorts of different directions. You know what I mean? Like it could be all sorts of like architecture styles and like palatial structures, I guess.
Totally. I would much rather be covered in cake at the beach.
Would you? What if you like
that
went
Jonas
to,
Brothers song?
What if you went to the beach and you like stepped in it instead of sand? It was cake, so you kind of like sunk in a little bit, kind of situation because it has the same like texture and structural integrity as cake.
I go home and there's like cake in my shorts. That I have to like.
You have to whip out your shorts and it's just like frosting and sprinkles come out as you shake them out.
Could we, like, everyone loves a good sand pit. And like it's fun, and you build your little sand castle, and you play with your friends. Could we have like an edible version of this where it's like it's all peanut butter or like
cake pit?
Yeah, the cake pit seems somehow less hygienic
than the peanut butter pit.
Yeah, don't ask me why.
Look, I'm just gonna love with you. Like, if you gave me like, let's just say it's a really big jar of peanut butter that you like sink into the ground so you can like jump into it, kind of situation. That sounds awful. Like, I just can't imagine like submerging myself in that, and it's like oily and like kind of
from far away. You think it's a little bit more
Jeremy.
viscous.
Yeah.
So you like run and jump into it, and you just immediately smack
into it, but then you slowly sink into it.
Yeah. Oh man, if it's the crunchy kind, you just hit your head on a giant peanut.
Oh no!
I don't know why the peanut's giant. It could just be regular peanut butter, but a lot of it.
Large peanut butter,
giant peanuts, to scale.
Yeah.
Okay, so but what you're proposing is more of a Honey I Shrunk the Kid situation, where you get a regular jar of peanut butter and then you shrink somebody and then they jump into it.
No, I was thinking more like the big cookie in the Jim
Bruce
Carrey
Almighty
movie, or like
Yeah.
or like the big pool of spaghetti that like Adam Sandler wrestles naked with that old woman. We talked about that film.
Yeah.
What?
Okay, but my question is, the spaghetti isn't like big. Like it's a big thing of spaghetti,
Well,
but the pieces of spaghetti aren't like to scale, if you were.
well, it scales differently, right? Like a big pool of spaghetti is kind of like eating angel hair. That's to scale. Like you take
So does that mean like a regular piece of spaghetti for you is like as thick as a pencil or something?
Yeah, I just listen. You open up. A lot of people do this wrong. You get your spaghetti, you take it out of the plastic sleeve, you run that underwater until it like clumps to itself, and it's one giant spaghetti.
Oh, one big noodle.
Yeah.
Okay, Ian, I'm gonna pass on the peanut butter pit. I'll say that.
All right. Your funeral.
Now it sounds like someone
No
else's
peanut butter
funeral.
pit at Jeremy's funeral.
It is. I feel like the peanut butter pit would probably be somebody else's funeral if they were to jump into it.
Especially with the big rock hard peanuts that you can slip on.
Okay, my recipe. So I went kind of with a obviously this is a ghost type, so it has kind of like I imagine the sand in Palossand kind of has like some sort of spiritual, otherworldly element to it, because it's again, it's a ghost type. There's ectoplasm in there. And so what I'm going to go kind of with Ben's route of thinking, which I imagine that the ghost typing of the Palossand gives it, the Palossand sand, a bit of a sugar-like texture. And so I'm going to imagine that it is basically sugar for our purposes. And what we're going to make with it is a Palo Santa Cotta, which is we're going to prepare panna cotta with the grains of the Palossand sand instead of sugar as our main kind of element. And I think this will give us a kind of I've been to a restaurant where they've made like panna cotta kind of into the shape of like a church or a cathedral. They like form it into ramekin that looks like it, and they like jiggle it out, and it's kind of like shaped like a building. And I think we're going to kind of do something similar, and the ghost element makes it a little more spiritual. So like when you eat it, you feel closer to the other side. But it's also a sweet treat kind of situation.
Nice.
Perfect for Christmas.
Yes.
So panna cotta, really straightforward, honestly. Is all you need is some gelatin, cold water, cream, sugar, and vanilla extract. And then if you want to bump it up a level, you can decide if you want like a fruit or something on top of it. You're gonna get your gelatin bloomed. You're gonna get a saucepan. You're gonna get your cream, your half and half, your Palossand sugar, and then you're gonna mix that together. And then we're gonna put the mixture into our ramekins. And maybe I don't know what the religious institutions of the Pokeverse look like. I kind of imagine it's the place where Palkia and Dialga hang out, like those weird columns kind of situation. It's that stage in Smash Brothers. You know what I'm talking about. And we'll get the ramekins with that, and we'll let them set overnight, serve them, and they're nice and cool. I know it's a hot Alolan day outside, so this will cool you down a bit. Pull them out, and we can add a little bit of lemon zest to it as well on top. Or a touch of a fruit of choice on the side as well to make it go. So that's Palo Santa Cotta. That's my recipe this week.
Damn.
Delicious.
So I always thought, I guess panna cotta is more fruity. I was thinking you could do like a dusting of like a something on top.
Oh,
like a
and certainly you
cocoa
can. I'm just, the recipe I'm looking at, it's like put your favorite fruit on it kind of situation.
Nice.
This is from the Gourmet Test Kitchen, so you know it's
Got to be good.
It's legitimate.
I really like that idea of using the panna cotta to like emulate some other like building structures with your food. Like that's just top notch.
Well, honestly,
Jeremy,
and
was
it's
that? Oh yeah.
it's
go ahead.
funny because it's like the ramekin looks like that building because it's basically just a mold, and you like fill it up and then you kind of like let it set and then get it out. So
Was the place where you had your panna cotta that looked like a church before, did it have a Dairy Queen situation where like if they take it out in front of you and just splats, it's free?
No, I think this was like a fancy restaurant and kind of situation where if like they drop it, they will bring you another one. But it's not like your meal is on us if we drop the food.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
Yeah, that's my recipe.
I like the recipe.
Thank you, Ben. I appreciate it. Let's review our recipes. Ben, I've heard tell that. Did you make a voting pool?
I did. Just at the very last minute, I made our poll.
Thank you, Ben. Let's review our recipes. From Ben, we have Palossand churro stand. From Ian, we have Palossand gingerbread castle. From Evan, we have Palossand sandcastle cake. And from me, we have Palossand cotta. So please, everyone vote. And Ben will tell us who won.
Except I can't.
Why?
Because it's a tie.
No!
Gasp. It is a tie between Jeremy and me.
Oh.
Time to fight.
Nice.
Time to fight.
All right. We'll put up a poll in the Discord. I think that's a pretty good way to make a determination here to decide who has the best recipe this week. So after this episode comes out, head over to the Discord. I choose you. It's in our episode description, and give us a vote. We'd really appreciate it.
Give me a vote.
No, give us a vote.
Oh.
All right, let's move on to Wailord's Mail Horde. It's the section of the show where we read your email sent into ichoosepod@gmail.com. That's ICHEWSPOD@gmail.com. Evan, can you read this email from Mike?
I wish we had the Discord soundboard because that would be some good sound effects for this email. But Mike says, anyway, I've awoken from my tofurkey food coma and I'm ready to eat a spooky sandcastle. It's still November and I want one last fall treat before everything pumpkin turns to peppermint mocha, which I am stoked about. For your fall meals, you're going to want to bring a pie and nothing beats homemade. So I'd like to make a Palossand cracker. Oh, like graham cracker.
Yes.
Pie crust for all of our seasonal desserts.
Nice.
Make your pie filling perhaps applin crumb or pumpkaboo pie or even the stately Klefki lime pie. Take some of the Palossand, for which, for all intents and presuppositions, is made of sand that is the correct ratio of flour, sugar, brown sugar, baking powder, etc., that you'd be able to replace the graham cracker for the pie crust. So mix in some butter and mix until uniform. Grab your favorite pie tin and smear a nice even layer of Palossand cracker crust in there. Bake a couple of minutes to build up some structural integrity. Quietly nods at Ian. Then fill with whichever you please. Top accordingly. Bake until your top begins to brown lightly. Enjoy. Ho, 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 boys. Mike.
Nice.
All right. Thanks so much for writing in. Once again, ichoosepod@gmail.com. Let's pick next week's Pokemon in a section I like to call Pick-a-mon. Evan, can you give me a number between 722 and 809?
All right. We have 780.
780. I was just looking at that. 780 is Drampa, the dragon Pokemon. It's like it's kind of like an old-timey looking Chinese dragon.
It's also a ghost, isn't it? Isn't it ghost and dragon?
No, it's normal.
Oh.
It's
just a normal dragon.
It's a normal dragon, Ben.
I think I'm thinking of the one that's like a ship wheel. You know what I mean? There's one that's like a ghost and it's like a pirate ship.
Yes, that's Pokemon 781. So we did almost get that one, and that's Delmise. But we're doing Drampa this week. It's nice because this kind of just is like a fantastical being. We're eating a dragon. We can fucking play the hits next week. So send in your Drampa recipes to ichoosepod@gmail.com. All right. Let's start wrapping up the show with our plugs. Where can we find you on the internet, Ben?
You can find me on the internet at Ben C. Montoya on Instagram, or at thefearandnow.tumblr.com. And you can go listen to a story that I produced for PRX on the podcast feed called Monumental. The episode is called Monumental Conflict in Santa Fe, which is where we're all from. So go ahead and check it out and let me know what you think.
Excellent. Ian, where are you from? Or where are you from? Where are you at?
You can find me at Musician Davis on Instagram. I've been thinking a lot about posting something new. So
Thinking real hard.
smash that fucking like button and maybe you'll put me over the edge.
He's edging right now, but once you smash that like button, you'll finish. All right. Evan, what do you got for us?
You can follow me on posts at E_Van, X at E_Van Aubrey, Blue Sky at E_Van Aubrey, all those things.
Excellent. You can follow me on Twitter at VelocityPrime1, on Tumblr, VelocityPrime1, on Blue Sky at VelocityPrime1, and you can check out my writings and assorted such at the-avocado.org. That's the-avocado.org. Jeremy Zelik.
D's avocados.
Yes.
Nice.
I thought the same thing. I was like, should I say this? No, I should finish the point I was trying to make. I can't just interrupt everything that's said for a D's Nuts joke.
Yeah, you really could.
Now, maybe someone on this call would disagree with that sentiment. Who can say? But that's where you can find me. Let's wrap up the show. I Choose You, podcast about cooking and eating Pokemon. You can find it on your favorite podcasting apps, including Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, or your podcast catcher of choice. If you like our show, give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify to help us go up the ranks. If you want more I Choose You goodness, may I suggest checking out our social media pages. I Choose Pod on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Tumblr, and Threads. And to find us, submit recipes, have a cheery old time, see the funny text messages that Ian sends me, kind of situation, all that stuff. I Choose Pod at your social media app of choice. Join the I Choose You Discord. I Choose You Discord is where you can hang out with fellow Choosies, submit recipes, and participate in community events. The link is in the episode description. Head on over there. It's a good time, I promise. Every month, a new person joins the I Choose You Discord. I don't know if that's true, but we had some people join recently. So head on over there. And lastly, but not leastly, check out the official website, iChooseU.menu. iChooseU.menu has a full episode archive and merch store, all designed by one Evan Aubrey. That's iChooseU.menu. Thanks for listening. I've been your host and Alden Brown of the group, Jeremy Zelik.
I've been your friend on this show, Ben Montoya.
I've been your gingerbread man, Ian Davis.
Your Robin Sparkles of the show, Evan Aubrey.
And to all the choosies out there in Radioland, in a while, Totodile.
We've been consuming, presuming, leguming, cracking cans and having feasts, munching, crunching, slurping, Pokemon and Ultra Beasts. I choose you. Season 7's our destiny. Let's eat some Alolan food. I choose you.